Soda is the most popular drink in the United States, second to water. Each one of us, that drinks soda regularly, is estimated about 57 gallons per year that we're drinking. So today I'd like to explain the harmful effects that soda has on your body. In our bodies, the pancreas is responsible for producing insulin, a chemical that is used to move sugar from food and drink into our bloodstreams. After soda is swallowed, this action is taking place. So within the first 10 minutes of drinking it, the insulin's already going, the sugars are being taken out, and all that. And after just 20 minutes, your blood sugar spikes, and your liver converts the sugars into fat for storage. So that's after 20 minutes. And then within just 45 minutes of drinking the 20-ounce glass of soda, the caffeine has been completely absorbed, and your pupils dilate, and your blood pressure rises. This is a response to more sugar in your bloodstream and all that good stuff. When this happens, there's a release of dopamine, which is a stimulant for pleasure in your brain. It's measured like a small line of cocaine, according to the researchers at Harvard Medical. After an hour, you start to crash, and then that's when you go to pick up another can of soda or a candy bar or something sugary, that whatever will suffice. The researchers also state that after each additional can of soda, it increases your obesity by 1.6 times, or obesity risks. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about, all of this happens within just minutes, but we don't know what happens to our bodies after a long period of time, after constant soda drinking. So, I know this is hard to see, but I'm just going to summarize it for you. Asthma is a huge risk of drinking soda because of the sodium benzenate that's in the sodas. It's used as a preservative, and it's known to cause chemical reactions in your body, such as like rashes, eczema, and asthma. And 11 people die every year from asthma. Also, it dissolves your tooth enamel, and after the enamel's all gone and the decay reaches the root of the tooth dies, and you're never going to get that tooth back. And it causes abscesses in your mouth and further infections and all that. Obviously, obesity and an increased risk of diabetes. Also, there's reproductive issues like premature puberty and like abnormalities in your reproduction. So now that you know what happens within the first couple minutes of drinking the soda and then long-term effects, I also want to tell you guys some of the other uses for soda that there is besides drinking. So a can of soda can be used to get blood stains out of clothing. It can also clean up an oil spill in your garage and like break down some of the toughest rust, and we drink it. Like, it goes in our bodies, and we don't know the effect that it has on our like insides other than these things. So now I want to try to convince you guys how to stop drinking soda. Most people justify drinking it by saying that it's the most convenient, considering the millions of soda vending machines and the soft drink dispensers. And us in the US are most exposed to soda advertisements because we have the most of them. The soda industry is making billions. And it's also exceptionally cheap compared to like teas and smoothies that we can drink as a healthy substitute. So how can we stop drinking it? So there's no scientific way or magic spell that can stop you from drinking soda. But the way I think of it is, again, big soda industries are making billions off of drinks that are killing us, and well, basically killing us, and they're getting away with it. And a bill was just passed in the UK, brought to the government by a health chef, Jamie Oliver. He's British. There's going to be a large tax placed on soda in the UK to try to reduce the consumption of soda because it's such a growing problem and it's causing obesity like crazy over there, and so they're making it a lot easier for everyone to quit. So from now on, every time I crave or go to pick up a can of soda, I think about the harmful things that I've just discussed. And instead I go pick up a water, and after just a week you start to feel better, you feel healthier, your skin gets clearer, you feel more awake even if you're not having that caffeine, and you're just gonna be happier altogether. So, thank you.
All right, Rosie, what did you think?
I liked the topics, and I think it was well organized. I try contact with the audience. I thought visual material was very effective, but I think you could use them more. Picture was a little bit small, and I couldn't read clearly. But the whole presentation, it was very good. I liked it.
All right. Well, let me talk about the things I like too. I like that you had a justification at the beginning with some statistical information. I like that you used that as an attention device also. I thought you had a pretty clear statement of your purpose. Although at the end of the speech, it sounds like you've got a very different purpose as it turns from being an informative speech into being a persuasive speech. Yeah. And I think that that's a little bit problematic. I think that you've got some interesting information and ways to present that information in the speech, but there are problems with them. I think you recognize, for instance, on the visuals that they aren't as sharp as they could be. And one of the problems is that there's too much information there, and you're not emphasizing the thing that you're talking about. You've got that whole picture of the body on that second slide, for instance, and there's like no reference to it. It's not integrated in the speech, anything. It's just this one thing up in the corner that you're talking about asthma. I'm going, okay, well, how does that connect to anything that I'm seeing in the visual here? And it doesn't. It's just a list of information, and you don't even read that information. It's like a cue to you to talk about asthma, and that's about it. So I think you're missing a trick, an opportunity to use something like that. The first slide that has all the things that happen in a time sequence thing, I think that immediately suggests perhaps maybe 2 or 3 slides instead of 1 slide. I know that the world is full of memes and infographics that people want to present instantaneously on social media to make it simple for folks to pay attention to. But you've got a speech here, and you don't have to absorb it in the 13 seconds that we're looking at it, quickly as we're flipping through our Instagram pictures or something like that. You need to talk about those sorts of things. And I think that you do a little bit on that first one, but not as much as, again, like Rosie said, not as much as you could have on most of these things. And I think that's a little bit problematic. And some of the visual images are problematic too, like I said, because there's so much there. You can't even see what's in those points. So this would be one of those things to break it up into a couple of steps. And you've already got the steps listed there. What happens in the first 10 minutes, what happens in the next 10 minutes, what happens an hour afterwards. Why wouldn't you just, kind of condense those into 2 or 3 parts and then separate that information out on the visual? I think that would make it work a little bit more effectively. I got a source citation on the first slide about halfway through, Harvard medical researchers, which is a little broad. I don't know, that's a Snooki joke. Did I repeat that? I said that one before? Yeah. All right. Okay, it's a little general. Now it's a Napoleon joke. I can't resist, sorry. So I think you could be more precise in identifying the study or the research that's going on there. It seems like it's kind of vague. And then that was the last time I heard a real citation. There was some information about asthma that needed to be explained a little bit more, and I thought that was problematic. Organizationally, it sounds like it's problem-solution structure once we get to that solution, because the third point is all about how to fix this problem. I think that's underdeveloped, which is not a bad thing since it's supposed to be an informative speech, but if you're going to have a solution, it needs to be a little bit better developed than you've got there. A couple of things, other things, some of it is specific to soda, like is it benzene? Sodium benzenate, that's it, that you're talking about. That's pretty specific. Everything else is sugar that you're talking about that's bad. And your M&M's World t-shirt undermines your credibility on the sugar issue. You know, if it's just sugar that's creating all this kind of stuff, and that's the thing that's bad for us, then you're going to be an advocate. You might want to think about those kinds of things. You know, there's just a little bit of inconsistency on that. And by the way, I appreciated your attempt to create some interest by talking about the other things that you can do with soda, you know, like cleaning up blood and that sort of thing. However, I'm sitting here going, and I do all those things with water too. So why is it, you know, that one is worse than the other? I know the implication is, oh my gosh, we use soda to clean the floor of the garage. I'm going, yeah, I use water to clean the floor of the garage too. And I drink both, so which one's worse for me? Stick to the other stuff. I know it's an attempt to make it dramatically dangerous and make it interesting. It sounds like hyperbole. You know, you're going a little bit over the top on that. All right, thank you.